What up, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, bum. Hello. Here you are. All right, welcome into the Pillow Talk edition, the second of two streams that I do each and every day, Monday through Friday, right here on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. Hi, I'm Pugs Moran, your humble host, joined for this show, the second stream. I'll tell you about the first stream in a minute. Joined on this one by James Parker. It is Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk on the Radio Misfits podcast network every night, Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. I do another one. I do another stream. I do a stream every day at noon, 12 noon Central Time, Central Standard Time. We call that one High Noon. I already said that. I don't know. High Noon. That's current events. That's current events, hot topics, trending topics, headlines, anything the world is talking about. I like to rattle through it. Ba-bam, 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 ba-bam. First topic, say what it is. Hot take. Next topic, say what it is. Hot take. We go through everything. We go through whatever it is. We don't do political bullshit. It's not something that we're into here. I don't give a crap about that stuff. I don't want to hear from divisive politics. Divisive politics is the whole reason that I don't get to do radio anymore. I spent years doing talk radio in Chicago and then in Dallas, and I moved back to Chicago, and I fumbled around a little bit there in Chicago with it again, but it was just all so gross. So what we do at the High Noon show is we just try and make it a little bit more ecumenical. You know, we do things, we talk about things. Oh, we still take positions. We still take positions and we still argue about nonsense stuff, which is all politics is these days, just arguing about nonsense stuff based on what team you root for. But it's more, it's more general stuff. It's silly stuff. So silly stuff like what? I'll give you an example. Today I argued with my buddy Adam Reyna during the High Noon show because he thinks everything is racist. That's racist. Microaggression. We're getting it all done like microaggressions. And I'm like, stop it with the microaggressions. Stop it. Nobody cares. Let's tackle together, you and me, the macro aggressions. How about that? How about we go after the macro aggressions, and then when we actually make some real progress on that, then go ahead. Then you can just bother everybody with your little thin-skinned microaggressions. Tell a slave who was stacked one on top of the other on some North Carolina bound slave ship back in the 1800s? Yeah, 1800s. Back in the 1800s. Tell him about microaggressions. Come on, man. Anyway, I've had the song Toto Africa stuck in my head all day. I've been listening to it. I got it. Because last night, one of my favorite moments from the Oscars, and that's what tonight's show is going to be. Tonight's show is going to be me and Parker and a special guest. Maybe a special. We'll see. We'll see. We will see. We're going to be talking basically for the full hour. We're going to break down, we're going to pull apart, we're going to dissect, we're going to put it under the microscope, the whole Will Smith, Chris Rock shenanigans. That thing, because a lot has changed. A lot has changed since noon. I did a segment on it today because it was the number one trending topic. So of course we had to address that on the High Noon show. But I was really thirsting for a conversation with people on it. And I love you guys in the chat room. You guys in the chat room are awesome. You guys are, hey, Jeffrey Ballard. Hello. Everybody say hi to Jeffrey. Hi, Jeffrey. Fast Outdoor Food. He's here. Says Will Smith needs a good old Iowan ass kicking. Michael says hello all. Hello all. And Michael. Hi, Dustin. Good to see you, Dustin, and Byron, and more people coming in. Okay, come on, make your way into the chat room. We're going to hold off on the big stuff. So anyway, my favorite thing from the from the Oscars was when Daniel Kaluuya, who was a great actor, he was so good in Judas and the Black Messiah. Yeah, was that what it was called? Because I sometimes get that title wrong. Judas and the Black Messiah. Last year, he won the Best Supporting Actor for that movie, and he's really good. He's like really cool and everything. But he came out with Her. You know the songstress, the performer, her Her. I don't know. Okay, whatever. That's what she goes by. She goes by her. They came out last night, and the music as they walk. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome last year's Oscar winning for Best Supporting Actor and last year's Oscar winner for Song of the Year, Daniel Kaluuya, and her. And then they went into ba da ba 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 da ba ba. I hear the drums are going tonight. You know the Toto's Africa. I love it. It's gonna take a lot to take me away from you. And the music fades. And they just like look at each other like, what? Why did they play Africa when we came out? That's a little. And I love that because it's one of those things where I think we all would have seen that and went, huh, that's an interesting choice of song. What's going on there? And they even looked at each other. They as they were walking out, the music's playing, and then as they approached the podium, they kind of glance over at each other like, huh. And I was talking about was that not racist. See, I get really upset, and maybe I'm just what look at me. I'm a middle-aged white guy. I probably shouldn't be chiming in on what is and isn't racist. Although, I think I think I'm pretty in step with the middle of America as far as what is really racist and what isn't. And I like playing a song titled Africa while two black people walk out onto the stage. I mean, I just thought, again, white guy here. So we all know white guys of my age group, we don't count for anything. So, I just thought it was funny. But, I took it on the chin from some in the chat room who were like, no, that's obviously racist. And I'm like, well, why is it racist? He's from Africa. If I if they introduced me and I walked out and they played like, some show tune from Chicago, I wouldn't be, hey, how dare you? And now I know it's not a racist thing because that's not about skin. That's just about where I'm from. But why couldn't that song have been about that? Just about where he's from? I mean, why does it have to be some sort of notation on his skin color? He's from Africa. They played the song Africa. I don't know. So anyway, I had to dive deep into that one after the after the show ended. I had to figure that thing out. I had to go look. I had to get like, well, what was it? Did all of the people that they introduced and brought out, did they all have songs that kind of match? And they did. They're all the music that was played had something to do with the people who were walking out. And sometimes it was a little snarky. Like, for instance, Rachel Ziegler. Zegler. I don't even know how to say that name. Is it Ziegler or Zegler? She's not famous enough yet, which maybe she does a few more movies. She's tiny, by the way. She was like this big. She was in West Side Story, and she made a lot of headlines in the weeks leading up to the Oscars because apparently she wasn't invited. Like, she did an interview about West Side Story and all the Oscar hopes that it had and all of this stuff. And she said, well, I really wouldn't know. I wasn't invited. And that started a whole thing. We're like, wait a second. How did you not get invited to the Oscars? And it became a thing. And I think the Oscars were a little bit embarrassed by it. So the way they rectified the situation was that they said, okay, well, we're going to make you a presenter then. And they allowed her to come out and present something. But the music they chose to play for her was a song called Begging. like she was begging to be a part of the Oscars. So there was some snarkiness and a little bit of fun with the musical choices that were assigned to each of the people who came out. So I wanted to look into that more, and I did. And what I found was, if the choice of playing Toto was in fact racist, then it was a black guy who's the racist because the production team, and specifically the music coordinator of the Oscars last night, was the first time in history that it was an all black production team. So the idea that it was some sort of awful, mean spirited racial jab by playing Toto when Daniel Kaluuya and Her came out, um, it starts to lose a little bit of the wind from those sails when you learn that it was actually the first time that the Oscars employed an all black production team for the Oscar broadcast, from the executive producer on down to the musical director to all of that kind of stuff. So I kind of felt better. I kind of felt better about just thinking it was funny. That it was like, that's funny. He's from Africa. And they're playing the song Africa. That's racist. How? He's from Africa. Because he's black. Well, now it sounds like you're the one that's going racist is he solely defined by his skin color, or can't somebody just be from somewhere? And that goes back to me. Like if they played the song about Chicago from the musical Chicago when I came out, I wouldn't be like, "Hey, how dare you make reference to where I'm from?" It wouldn't be like a slight. I wouldn't see it as, let me quote now, a microaggression. So, okay, so there we go. Leslie McDaniel is here. Gosh, fast food, that couldn't possibly be oh, wait, I should read fast food then first to see. Hey, Brady. Brady's here hanging out. Fast Outdoor Food says, just a thought. What if a big named white star walked up and hit a black star? Would the narrative be different? Most definitely would be different. Yeah, I mean, there are all kinds of movable parts with the situation that occurred last night that could make it different. Yeah, certainly. It would be different. The narrative would be different. Leslie says, gosh, fast food, that couldn't possibly be the talking point of all the angry middle-aged white conservative dudes. And Leslie's right, too. That's right. Oh, don't get it twisted. The real racists, the AM talk show hosts, the Fox News people, all of those dudes, they were absolutely, they were absolutely happy it was two black guys. Because then they were given carte blanche to talk about two black guys being violent on the biggest stage of American television. Yeah, it was definitely, there's a little bit too much enjoyment from those people. Now, I enjoyed it too, though. But I enjoyed it just because it was like watching Roy get eaten by the tiger. It was like, it was not expected. It was shocking, and I didn't get slapped. It wasn't me, so it wasn't that terrible. But as far as it like being like some sort of indication of this, the black man, he has an inherent disposition towards violence, and I think we saw, anybody making that narrative, that's a racist son of a bitch. That guy's an idiot. I don't know how, it doesn't have anything to do with black. It just had two dudes. One actually had to do with one dude. It had a comedian who did what comedians do. Stupid joke, though. It was a dumb joke, and we'll get into that. But it wasn't like Will Smith is solely defined by his skin color. Will Smith, the blackest thing about Will Smith is his wife. I mean, Jada is the blackest thing about Will Smith. Will Smith is a black man and a proud black man, but I don't think he's defined solely by his skin color. Will Smith is as mainstream as it gets. Will Smith was, although I will say this, and I read some interesting things. I got myself all schooled up this afternoon about the history of Will Smith and some of his insecurities and, some of the things from his past, his public life, the past 30 years that may have led to him lashing out in this way in the moment. And a lot of it was very interesting. And by the way, I will tell you that the things that I'll be quoting right now came from Jamel Hill, who is a very smart, very provocative, very interesting female African-American writer and pundit and a columnist. She wrote a piece in The Atlantic about Will Smith and Will Smith's struggle with, who he is as a man. She went into the idea that Will Smith started out as a hip hop guy, but Will Smith was not. And again, this is Jamel Hill. This is someone who couldn't be further away from what we would traditionally describe as the voices of modern American racism. Your Tuckers and your Ben Shapiro's, your troublemakers who have decided that their audience are guys who look like me, and that's all they want to play to. So they're telling these people what they want to hear, not what I want to hear. But that's why I'm unemployed. I could do that. I could totally do it. I could sell out in a minute and be like one of the great right-wing AM talk show hosts there is. But I value my sleep too much, and I'd love to be able to sleep well at night, and I don't think I could. But Jamel Hill talked about how even Will Smith, 30 years ago, when he was coming up as a rap star, he was derided by the other rappers of the time. He was seen as soft. Will Smith was said, and this one really hurts. This one really hurts. Because there is a connection here. There is a real deep-seated personal connection to the woman that he married. It was said, Tupac Shakur once said that Will Smith made hip-hop music for white kids in the suburbs, which really hurts because Tupac Shakur was Jada Pinkett Smith's one true love. Like, they grew up together. They were an item. She describes him as her best friend ever, So Tupac said this before, Will was with Jada, but still, going back to the early days of hip hop, Will Smith made safe, radio friendly hip hop music, whereas other guys, your Dre's and your Eazy's and your Public Enemies and your Tupacs and you guys like this, they were out there doing real edgy sort of militant stuff, more militant stuff. Whereas, Will Smith was, your parents just don't understand, he's doing that stuff. So he's always kind of had this thing on him where he's not a man. And then he got cucked, he got totally cucked by his wife when, the entanglement thing where Jada Pinkett Smith trotted him out on her Red Table talk show, which she does on Facebook, which is very popular. And she discussed her infidelities right in front of him, and he started to cry. So there's been a lot of Will Smith has taken a lot of shit over the years about whether or not he's a man's man kind of a thing. And so Jamel Hill was the person who I'm actually talking about now. In her piece for The Atlantic today, she speculated that, it all came to a boil. And we have what we have. Jeffrey Ballard says they made fun of him for being a clean rapper. Yeah, they did. Yeah, he was the rap, no pun intended. But the knock on Will Smith back in the 90s and 90s hip hop was that he made hip hop for white kids in the suburbs, that he wasn't somehow a real hip hop guy. And then, when you take another step back and you see that the guy who is famously credited with saying that, Tupac Shakur, when you learn that Will Smith ended up marrying the woman who had a very long and interesting relationship with Tupac. So what is the relationship that Jada Pinkett Smith had with Tupac? Well, they went to high school together. They were friends in high school. She was a drug dealer. She was a drug dealer at the Baltimore School for the Arts. And Tupac was a student there, and they became best friends. And probably more. Most people are like, yeah, they're probably more, because Jada Pinkett Smith has said that, back then she had a sex problem, that she thinks that she may suffer from sex addiction. Like, Jada Pinkett Smith is just kind of, she likes to have sex. She's an empowered woman. And her best friend at the time was Tupac. And I'm a straight guy, but Tupac was hot. He was hot. She was hot. If they're best friends, I think maybe they were friends with benefits for sure. They were close. There was definitely a big connection there. So to have Tupac then, when Tupac is one of the most heralded and critically acclaimed hip hop voices of his generation, to take a shot at Will Smith in the time, like what are we talking, 92, something like that, 93, that he is somehow less than him. And then to have Will Smith a year or so later end up with someone who was best friends with Tupac, don't think that hasn't been a thing between Will and Jada over the years, that Jada was in love with a man that didn't respect what Will Smith did, and that man is dead. And, when you love somebody who dies, and dies prematurely the way Tupac did, they often don't leave you an opportunity to fall out of love with them. So if she was in love with him and he died and was taken from her, even though they weren't an item, they were not an item when he died. I think Tupac was engaged to Quincy Jones's daughter, not Rashida Jones, Rashida Jones's sister. I can't think of her name. It's a really cool name too. I can't think of it. It's like Rashida, but it's not biblical. It's not Mary. It's like something cool. I can't think of what it is. Anyway, but Tupac was engaged to her at the time, and but Jada and Tupac were still like thick as thieves. The two hot people, and she's a sex addict, and I'm sure Tupac wasn't turning it down. So basically everyone says, yeah, they had a thing. They had a long thing, whatever. But so there has been 30 years of Will Smith in this relationship with Jada not feeling like a man. And that may be part and parcel to what exactly went on there. Hold on a second. Let me see something here. James is going to be along shortly. James is running a little bit late.
Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kelly Moore on her birthday. Oh, jeez. Look at that.
As I've been saying, we don't talk about birthdays here.
Okay. Well,
we don't talk about Bruno last night, and we don't talk about birthdays here.
We I wanted to say happy birthday, and I wanted to say that the only reason that I knew it was your birthday is because I went to promote the stream on Facebook, and look at Facebook.
You went to the evil Facebook? Yes. Oh my God! Do not cross over to the dark side.
Facebook, I'm telling you, that's really the only thing that I use. I go to Facebook once a day, and I look to see whose birthday it is there. And after I don't mean to say that I don't remember your birthday, but I don't. And I looked and I saw it there. I saw that was your birthday, and I go, oh yeah, her birthday's this time of year. But for some reason, I always think it's in April. I don't know why I think it's in April, but
it's okay. I literally do not. I just said literally. I hang out too much with kids that are younger. I don't like celebrating it. On the other hand, I've had, a few accidents where I didn't know that birthdays were going to be coming to me anymore. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful to have them.
Yeah, I would like to talk to you about that, but
okay, that's fine.
Well, I don't know about now, because I want to talk to you about last night. I thought that might be fun, because I have just been spinning all day on my noon show. I spent a better part of an hour just going on and on by myself, and I'm just thirsty for someone
about
to have
a slap heard around the world.
Yes, I want to have a conversation. And Parker, James does the. He joins me at 9:00 for the hour here. And he's going to be a little bit late today. And I saw it was your birthday. And I'm like, I need to send her a birthday text. And I went, oh, no, I need to send her a birthday text and just tell her that I'm going to call her.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, cool. I mean, seriously, I was talking to Kevin, my brother, and, he called me to wish me a happy birthday, which was very nice. And he was just like, Jays, I just filled up my gas tank and it took me, cost $80. I go, yeah, but you didn't have any, bombs thrown at you. So let's look at the positive part of it. So yeah, it sucks. And then I was like, well, shoot, I filled my gas tank up 3 weeks ago and I still have half a tank of gas because I go nowhere. There's nowhere to go here.
I know, me too. I don't drive anywhere.
Yeah.
And gas. I filled up. I drive to my kid in Plano, like
Mhm.
maybe like once a week or something
Hold
like
on,
that.
so you live in Plano now?
He lives in Plano. I live in
Okay.
Highland Park. I don't. You
No,
do you not know the
you go back and
situation?
forth, I thought.
No,
No, not all of it.
he lives in Plano. I live in Highland Park, and he comes and lives with me on weekends. So
Sweet.
yeah, so every other weekend, and then I go
Okay.
to
Well,
his
that's good. I'm glad you guys are
games and stuff.
closer.
Yeah, you and me both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's got to listen to this. So I love you were so right. Kelly for years told me that, oh, you're just going to have so much fun when your kids start to grow up. And I'm like, nah, they're going to be awful. No, my kid is 12 and he
Yeah.
is hysterical. He,
Yeah.
he is he calls me up today. What time was it? Probably about 7:30 tonight.
So he's 12. So he like has funny takes on stuff, right?
Yeah.
That are
Yeah.
like
Really.
ironically educational. 'Cause you're
He's
like, why am I learning from you?
he's really smart. He's like
Yeah.
really bright. Like he's the way Declan was, He's just
Yeah.
really tuned in. And
And
he
now Declan's a teacher
oh yeah, I know. How about
and a
that?
massive coach. He works freaking forever.
And also a massive dude. He's he's a
Yeah.
big dude. Declan, when did he get
Well,
so
no,
big?
I mean, like he's bigger. I don't want to call him heavy, but he's not tall.
Well,
But
he looks to me, he's got like a big giant neck. He looks like a power lifter.
he
That's
looks
what he
like a coach. Exactly what he looks like. He looks like a coach.
Jeez.
And he is.
Yeah, he's coaching
And now
football.
he's coaching and track but I don't know what the can I swear?
Yeah, yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Because I don't know what the fuck he's doing coaching track. He knows nothing about track. He doesn't know how to run fast. He doesn't know how to throw a shot put. He certainly couldn't do jump over a bar. Like that's just
Well,
but
you don't have to teach anybody track. It's just run from
well,
here
but
to
they
there.
have coaches too, like I understand he can give coaching advice about football for sure all day.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
to the point where Jeff's like about ready to kick him out of the house half the time because he's like, I don't need to learn about football from you. And I'm like, well, you kind of do.
Oh no. Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember when he was just learning about football. All right, so wait. So back to my kid. All right, so
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
so
Sorry,
my
I
kid
turned. It's all about me.
he calls me at 7:30 today and he goes, all right. So this morning I took him to school because he spent the weekend with me. So we woke up early and
Sweet.
we drive him to school in Plano. And he fell asleep last night before the Oscars because he's 12 and he's a modern
Yeah,
kid and he doesn't give a rat's ass about the
yeah. I was
Oscars.
gonna say also he wasn't really gonna be missing anything, so
No,
that's fine.
he's like, I don't. So we wake up in the morning. He fell asleep next to me while I was watching them on tape delay because
Hmm.
we ended up just watching something together last night.
Hold on, what's tape delay?
Well, I mean, I recorded it.
You just put it on pause. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
no, I just recorded the Oscars, and then after he started to fall asleep, I put it on because I knew that he would not be interested in it. So
Right.
he woke up like in the beginning and the middle, and he watched a little bit of Wanda Sykes, and he loves Wanda Sykes. He wants to be a stand-up comedian. He's like
Sweet.
really, yeah,
Good.
he's
That's a
really
hard life. Good going though.
well. We're not encouraging it, but we like we like that his mind. He wants to do something creative with his mind, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
make people laugh. So we're watching that and so he falls asleep and we wake up at like 6:45 this morning to get him ready for school and all that stuff because we got to drive
Hmm.
and there's traffic outside of Dallas to get
Lucky
up to
you.
Plano.
I have to get up at 6, but that's okay.
Oh, well, I got to sleep in. So he through his little sleep covered eyes he goes, so did anything happen on the Oscars last night? And I go, did it? Oh my God. And so he jumps out of bed because I told him what happened. He's like, no way. Because
Yeah.
he knew this was a big pop culture moment. And he knew that he needed to be the guy at school who had all the
Yeah.
information
Yeah,
on it.
yeah, yeah. Good.
So he goes, well, let me see it. Let me see it. So we go and we watch it. And he's standing there. He's in his underwear. He's still got sleep in his eyes. We got it on the TV. He's brushing his teeth and he's watching it. He's like, oh my God, that didn't really happen. And then we drove up to school and we listened to nothing but morning radio. So he was getting all the hot takes from, different
Yeah.
morning radio and stuff. So fast forward now, 7:30 tonight, he calls me up and I'm like, how was school? He's like, it was good. It was good. I go, were you kids talking about it? He's like, that's all anybody was talking about. I go, really?
Yeah.
And he goes, and here's what he said to me. Are you ready for this? He
Yeah.
goes, I don't know, Dad. I kind of admire Will Smith. And I go,
Oh,
what?
no.
I go, what the hell are you talking about? And he goes, I don't know, man. I just don't think that I could stand up for another man's woman like that.
Oh my God. If he's going to be a stand-up, what does he want? People to come on stage and punch him in the face if he insults them?
Well, no, but come on, that joke was brilliant.
Oh God,
He didn't
no.
think that he could stand he was saying that Will Smith was standing up for another man's woman because Jada cheats on him.
Oh, okay. I did miss that part.
It's
You're
a
right.
brilliant joke. So the joke was, I don't know, Dad, I kind of admire Will Smith. And I had your reaction. I was like,
Oh my
what?
God.
What the hell are you talking
Yeah.
about? And he goes, I don't know. I don't think that I could stand up for another man's
Oh my
woman like
gosh.
that.
Oh my gosh. I was texting with Declan and McKenna, who are 25 and 22, while this was happening, and I was like, but that's not even the worst thing anyone's ever said about the Smiths.
No.
Like,
No.
why did this make him, hit him in the face? Why?
Why? Here, hold. Give me a second here. Let me bring in the second half of the Pillow Talk with Pugs and Parker. Proudly present Pillow Talk on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. James Parker is now coming in. James, look who we got. It's the birthday girl. It's Kelly.
Hey,
Oh, hey, Kelly. That's fantastic. Happy birthday.
hey, thank you. You know what I found out yesterday, which was my second slap to the face after the Oscars?
Okay.
Somebody really close to me is a complete isolationist.
What does that mean?
Nobody needs to be involved in any overseas wars or send any weapons or anything unless it comes across our borders. I'm not going to say who it is, even though it was my brother Tom.
Your brother Tommy?
It's not that it's not that crazy of a position. I don't agree with it, but it's not that crazy of a position.
Oh, no, that's freaking crazy. Are you kidding me?
But that's how most of the countries on the planet live their life. We could too.
For the Revolutionary War, we had to go to France and other countries to help us to win.
Well, yeah, but we didn't send troops there. No, we didn't send troops to France.
We were founded on the idea.
No, we sent Ben Franklin there.
We were founded on the idea of being an isolationist nation. So that idea isn't crazy in 1776.
We had to go to other countries to get favors, to have them help us.
And that was a reasonable idea in 1776 when it took a month and a half to cross the Atlantic Ocean, and you could be in isolation.
And a whole bunch of hookers.
Right. But we live in, like it or not, a global environment now. We have jet planes that can take us anywhere. It is easier for people to get from one place to another. It is just simply not rational to think that we could solely exist isolated on our own. Our economy would crumble.
No one's saying.
Well, what if a bomb lands in a NATO country due to Article 5? What do we do then? He's like, nothing. And I was like,
So we don't go. We needed all our friends during the Cold War to keep everybody in check, but now we just don't. Now we just
abandon. This is what I'm telling you. Yeah. Like hearing this yesterday, and I was like, To my credit, because again, it's all about me today. But like, I didn't go off on him or anything. I was like, why do you think like that? He's like, well, because I just think that we just need to mind our own boundaries, distance. Like we only take care of what happens in the mainland. I'm like, okay. I got a history. My brother Kevin's in history. Declan teaches history. Jeff's in the military. Maybe know your audience.
Maybe. Yeah. James, go ahead. James.
I don't agree with it, but it's not a crazy position to hold. I myself.
I understand it, but you're right.
No, I totally look. I don't think it would really even be that bad for us. It might just be bad for say that 50 million South Koreans are pretty glad we're somewhat interventionists at some time.
Yeah.
Or
James, it also denies the concept of American exceptionalism. And if you believe in American exceptionalism, then you believe that we're the shining beacon and that we have a moral obligation to the rest of the globe. to
Right.
spread
Well,
democracy.
for the most part, we should be more defensive and less offensive, and we shouldn't be, so cavalier about bombing countries and just committing acts of war all over the planet. But I can't say I'm an isolationist because I think we need to start taking over new territory because like when my dad when my dad was born there was only 48 states. Now there's 50. We hadn't added a state since I've been alive. So like
Who you looking at? Who you eyeballing?
Yeah.
I'm looking at British
Who's
Columbia.
committed?
We just start taking Canada from west to east.
Okay.
We leave the French part
Yeah.
They
out.
haven't
They're
asked,
out.
but okay.
Montreal and Quebec, they're out. Dude, after what they've gone through this year, they may be open to the idea. And we let province by province, their little their healthcare system is on a provincial level. So fine, keep your healthcare system. Just join us. Let's start adding some stars to the flag or whatnot. But we need to start adding states. We're supposed to. If you're not growing, you're dying.
You don't move to the brownies down in Puerto Rico first. You go with the white folks up in British Columbia.
Well, they at least speak English. It's Diet America up there anyway. You can't tell the difference when you cross the border. There's just more Molson Ice. Is that would you even know? So yeah, we have that should bother us all that we are the first generation of Americans where we haven't added a new state. And I'm not okay with it. Because if it's like business, if you're not growing, you're dying. If you're not adding franchises, you're on your way out. You're on your way toward insolvency.
Well, did we take over France? What about France? They've got great cheese.
I'm not a big fan. Not a big fan of France. I think we got to start with the people who speak English first, just for
Okay.
so I can understand who my neighbors are.
Yeah, I get it.
Well, no, it's so I'm looking at New Zealand. I'm looking at Australia. These places are just different flavors of America.
There's too much waste in Australia. Like 99% of the population lives in like one city, and the rest is all a giant ashtray. There's a lot of.
I live in Texas. So do you.
Yeah.
There's like cities, and then there's fucking literal tumbleweeds going across roads.
No. Thank you, Jeffrey. Actually, Jamaica would be a good one. They speak English and they're non-white. They could get rolled in real easily. Oh no, I like that idea, Jeffrey. And thank you for a non-white example.
How is that gonna like help us?
Help us? Oh man,
what do they add to us?
Can you imagine going to Jamaica and you don't have to go through customs?
Dude, I love jerk chicken, but like I don't understand what else is going to happen to help.
I think James is just looking for a busier flag. That's really right. You just want more stars. Is that what you're looking for?
Well, look, the diversity thing, just whether it's economic or biological or whatever you look at, it really is something that sort of fortifies a society. And so I'd be happy to take them on. The only question I have is sort of the cultural fluidity that is lost when there's more than one language. So let's start with all the English speaking world, and that'll kind of be like our card to get in. Hey, you want to get into this expanding United States of America? Learn English. That's rule number one. And it's not because we're dicks. It's just because we're monolingual and that's kind of working for us, and let's stick with it.
No, we're kind of dicks. That's okay.
And yeah, okay, we're kind of dicks. Yeah,
but we've earned it. James, what's your take on Iceland? It would be nice to have a nice little spot right in the middle of the ocean between us and Europe.
Do they have minerals? I think Iceland's pretty worthless, but if they speak English, I'm down with it. It's nice to have a little port out there.
They have a 100% literacy rate there.
Yeah. So does Cuba.
I learned a lot about Iceland.
So does North Korea. You people in your literacy. Hey, if you don't have some idiots floating around, then you're not a free country. So idiots just come with the territory, and I'm willing to stomach it.
Boy, don't we know it.
I get it.
All right, time out. We're getting too far downfield with all of this globalist conversation.
Were we talking about Kanye?
No, we're talking about.
Oh no, that's other people in the world.
We've got to discuss the situation with the slap. Now, Kelly, I haven't allowed you the floor to sort of get this out. So, Kelly, you take the floor, and then you pass the ball over to James, and I'm just going to sit here, and I'll probably interrupt you a couple hundred times. But just go, Kelly.
Here's the deal. I like Will Smith until pretty much last night because I think he went way out of freaking bounds over a stupid joke. And if you're going to be in Hollywood and you're going to be upset that someone's going to make fun of you for something, especially since I do not believe that Chris Rock knew anything about Jada and her alopecia, although what's kind of weird is I did know that. and I don't know why.
Do you know
'cause I
what's
don't follow
even?
the Smith
Do
family.
you know what's even weirder about that, Kelly?
What?
Chris Rock made a very well received documentary about Black women and their hair. He made a couple of years. Do you remember that, Chris Rock's?
No, I don't. No, I don't know because I have a regular life where I keep up with my regular family and know about regular things. Like I don't delve deep into shit.
It was called Good Hair, and it was a
Okay.
massive hit, like in the Black women community. And
Oh, so you
I
know what
don't
good
think
hair
it's
is?
being insulting.
You know what good
Because I
hair
think
is?
that, like, I think Jada is gorgeous, and I thought her look was a choice that she made because people make that choice. I didn't think that there was anything wrong with her, or, and it's not wrong with her, but like, I didn't think there was a disease involved with how her hair was like that. I thought it was just like a fashion choice.
I knew about it, but only after the fact, after somebody said.
Exactly.
No.
Like,
I
how
mean,
are
I
you supposed to
remembered.
know fucking Jada Pinkett Smith has fucking alopecia? Who knows that?
Well, no, I mean, I remember after it was pointed out that she's got alopecia, I went, "Oh yeah, that's right. I did know that." But you
Yeah,
know,
something about that.
yeah, I didn't really obsess on it. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, but and then you're like on stage and you're like pressured into like make. Do I think that this was some joke he had like made written out and that he was reciting from memory? No, I just think that it was an off the cuff remark. Do I think that Will Smith went nuts? Yeah. What the hell, dude? Back
Yeah.
the fuck up.
James, how about you?
All right. First off, alopecia itself isn't a disease; it's a symptom. So, what is causing her alopecia is what I want to know.
Yeah, apparently,
It's an autoimmune
God,
deficiency.
I
It's
don't
been
know why the
said.
hell I
Well,
even
I
know that now.
see. My wife had alopecia for a while, and it turns out it was just sort of stress induced. We had 4 kids in a row,
I was
and
gonna say, was it because of kids? Because you
and she
lose
had like a
women grow hair and then they lose hair after they give birth as part of like the thing of giving birth. That's just like a thing
right,
that
and so
happens.
she had like 6 patches, like 6 circles where just the hair fell out and went bald, and they were about this big around in
Oh
different
yeah,
spots in her head, and so she could comb it over and kind of cover it. And she got on some like mood regulator, Wellbutrin or something like that. I forget the names of these things, and
yeah.
kind of
She's on
calmed
that
down.
because she can't handle the depression of being married to you, James. Sorry.
And if
Yeah,
you're talking
it's a big one.
That's
pharmaceuticals,
a joke. That's a joke. That's
No,
a
I'm
joke.
fine, dude. I'm not slapping you.
if you're talking pharmaceuticals, you got the right girl on the phone. She could
Exactly.
probably.
I know all about Wellbutrin, man.
Oh, you do? Okay. Well, it helped her. Look, her hair grew back, and we've been fine ever since. But look, here, y'all expect me to be the jerk, so here it comes. Uh, if you're that sensitive about your bald head, why don't you wear a wig?
That's what I said. And I said to McKenna, I'm like, she's gorgeous. I thought that this was a fashion choice. And if
Yeah.
she didn't want to be bald, she could certainly like wear a wig. Almost everyone does on TV nowadays anyway. Like,
Right.
what's the
Well,
deal?
Dolly Parton's been wearing a wig for like 60 years straight.
Exactly. And she'll tell you that.
Can I
Not
also
missing a
just
day.
point out very quickly? Let me interrupt both of you guys. Just as the only bald person in the conversation, what's so wrong with it? There have been
It's so funny.
there have
It's so
been
funny that you say that because Jeff asked me today. He's like, "What's alopecia?" I'm like, "Look in the fucking mirror."
yes. I mean, and
Dang.
I understand it's different between men and women, but you know, having short hair, real. And by the way, she's not bald.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah, she's got, and it's shaved down. She's not bald. If you didn't know that she had alopecia, you would just think that she's a beautiful Black woman with a hairstyle that many Black women have. Well, I see a lot of Black women with close cut hair like that. So, you know, James, continue. You got cut off.
Well,
Oh, sorry, James. Can we cut you off some more? Because sometimes you say a lot of things that irritate me.
good.
Boy, why we keep him around?
Sorry, I'm kidding.
Okay. So, well, there are other examples, like Ariana Presley in The Squad. She has a similar condition, and she rolls around with her shaved head, and she brags about it. And
Is that a show on TV? I don't know who that is.
Ariana Presley's in The Squad, like with AOC and Jaya Powell and
political people.
Congresswoman from New York, I believe.
Yeah,
somewhere.
Sure
but she runs around. She looks like a walking 8-ball with lipstick, and it looks okay. Like, it doesn't look like scary or like
I
she's
think I know what you're
sick.
talking about. Yeah.
Right. She doesn't look like a cancer patient. She looks just fine.
Yeah.
And so she actually brags about it. And she's
Also,
like,
we don't want to make people who are cancer patients feel bad.
No, yeah, right.
I think the cancer already did that worse than I could.
Mm.
But
No.
the way like she carries it with pride, you would think that another person with alopecia, if they share like a similar take on it, wouldn't be bothered by a GI Jane 2 joke. And then here's something that'll make you feel old as hell. GI Jane came out 25 years ago. So there's a bunch of like basically anyone 30 and under had to Google real quick what the hell GI Jane 2 is. And if you search for GI Jane 2, it's like explaining last night's joke.
You guys, let me get your take on this. This is something that I brought up during the noon show, and I was thirsty to have other people comment on. So let's talk.
Oh well, thanks for the call.
Well, you're
I was
welcome.
home there.
Let's talk about the joke. Okay, the joke itself was Jada, I love you. I can't wait for GI Jane 2. Right, that's the joke.
Right. Yep.
Okay, so Jada, I love you is not aggressive.
Nope.
It starts out saying that this is not meant to hurt you.
Right.
And it really doesn't matter whether or not he knew about the alopecia situation, because he is prefacing the line with, I love you and I don't want to hurt you.
Right.
Basically, long story short, I'm a comedian. This is what I do. Please don't take this personally.
Exactly.
That's what he meant.
I'm about to say a joke at your expense, and
Right.
I just want you to know.
Now, that's my second point on this. Was that joke at her expense? Because we all agree. Yes, James, I don't know if you chimed in. We all agree. She looked beautiful. She's a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
She looks better with hair. She looks better in Menace to Society.
Oh, well, okay. She's also 20.
Right.
I guess maybe it's because I'm also used to watching all these housewife shows and everyone who are constantly they wear wigs and weaves all the time. It's never their real hair, ever.
Yeah.
So I'm not used to seeing anyone with their real hair.
Wigs are a big deal with black women. That's one of the things.
And white women.
That's like, but with black women in particular, it's one of the major.
I only watch white women shows.
They dabble. They sprinkle some black ladies in there.
Wow. Well, just go through some urban neighborhoods and look at the amount of wig shops.
Well, yes, exactly. And as I was saying, a very large part of Chris Rock's documentary, Good Hair, about black women and their obsession with their hair, deals with the wig phenomenon and how it is a very big and natural thing for women, black women. Okay, so the joke itself, we understand, we've established, we agree that by saying I love you, Jada, he wasn't trying to be malicious. He wasn't Ricky Gervais out there.
No, I don't think so.
Right? In the joke itself, wasn't the joke itself. See, here's what I found the punchline to be. The punchline isn't that she has shaved head or that, you've got a disease. That wasn't the joke.
No.
The joke was the absurdity that after 30 years, they would make a G.I. Jane 2. That's the joke. That's the absurd part of the statement, that there would be a G.I. Jane 2. And also, let's talk about G.I. Jane and the insult that she must have suffered if he was comparing her to G.I. Jane. That was a movie about Demi Moore playing the first woman to become a Navy SEAL. It was empowering. She was strong. She was smart. She was determined. It was an aspirational film. And quite frankly, have you seen the pictures of Demi Moore from G.I. Jane that are she was gorgeous. And one of the things that I kept seeing over and over again was women saying, go ahead. Compare me to Demi Moore in G.I. Jane. Insult away. Yeah. It's like, that was not an insult on any level. And this has always been my issue with Jada Pinkett Smith. And again, Kelly, just like you, I never really had a take on Will Smith. Hey, see me, he's fine. He's fine. I'll see him and stuff. He seems like a nice enough guy. But I never liked Jada Pinkett Smith. To me, she always seemed to be a professional victim whose brand is, I will be defiant. I will stand. We can overcome. She's got this very thing. I am a strong.
I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean? That's always been her thing. And I think that she minds that for grievances, to be aggrieved. I mean, she's not a Make-A-Wish kid. This wasn't Chris Rock making fun of him.
She could have gotten a wig and if the worst thing someone's going to say about you is like, wow, you look like you could be in G.I. Jane too. Like, is that the worst thing someone can say about you?
It's a compliment. It means you're a strong, G.I. Jane was a strong, empowered woman. It was an aspirational film for women to say that you can do
Yes, it
this.
was.
And Demi Moore was absolutely beautiful in it. The joke, the only absurdity in the thing he said was that they would make a G.I. Jane 2 30
Yeah.
years after the original.
That is crazy.
That's the joke. And she chose, and I believe that she made a personal decision to be aggrieved because she's one of these people who likes to be aggrieved because once she's angry or once somebody has taken a shot at her, she then gets to stand up and she gets to be, that's kind of always
Yeah, but
been
she
her
didn't
brand.
even stand up. Like, she rolled her eyes
Right.
at the joke.
Right.
And Will was laughing.
But she rolled
And then all of a sudden he wasn't when he saw her look upset. And then he gets up. And who the fuck gets to get up, walk across the stage, and hit somebody?
Nobody.
Well, like, how? What?
Well, hold on. Let me go back to something that you just said
Okay,
there.
I'm sorry.
And what my point is on this was that I believe that in the moment, Jada wasn't offended. She made a choice to be aggrieved. She made a choice to take that personally.
Okay.
And I think we all saw it. Will Smith thought it was funny. Will Smith didn't think that she was going to be all bent out of shape by that. And he supposedly knows her better than anybody else, right? Or he wouldn't have reacted like that in the moment. She chose. She doesn't have a career as an actress. Years earlier, Chris Rock at the Oscars made a joke at her expense. Do you remember the joke a couple of years ago? Chris Rock made at Jada's expense?
I've heard it, but it's lame. Like, none of it is like,
it is.
None of it's like deep.
Here, I'll give you the joke. The joke that Chris Rock made years ago when he was hosting the Oscars was in reference to Jada Pinkett Smith saying that she was going to boycott the Oscars.
Yeah.
That was the Oscars So White year. And Chris Rock's joke was Jada Pinkett Smith boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. I wasn't invited either.
Yeah.
I missed that. Yeah. That's great.
True. No, that's true.
So she's been holding on to that
I was invited.
for years. And she chose this moment to take the spotlight and just roll her eyes and not give him the joke, because I think that she has, I think that she's a.
Well, can I just throw in something? I want to hear both of you explain what do you think Will Smith's rationale, not his super ego, but his internal rationale was for doing that. Is he trying to reclaim some sort of manhood? Is there something that's rolling? Because like Byron and a couple guys in the comments over there, like he's been embarrassed for being like a cuckold husband in an open relationship, and he just has to like do something to like sort of reassert that he is like still an alpha male,
and
not just some little
with her son's friend.
Yeah,
a bunch of people.
Cuck Will is trending right now.
A thing.
Cuck Will is trending right now.
So what's your theory on why did Will do it? What's your theory, both of you?
I don't know. I don't really know, because as I talk to my young, my kids, the younger generation, James, those people, but that like so much worse has been said about Will and Jada Smith than the fact that like she shaved her head. I don't get the amount of anger that it took to have that happen. I don't understand it. And I think, personally, Will Smith should have been escorted out and not be allowed to accept his Oscar because he was violent. Like, dude, like you walked up past security guards and people are like, well, did he punch him or did he slap him? I don't care. It was hard. Either way.
Yeah.
Like you looked and it was a thing. And I was just like, to the point where my first thought was, this can't be real. Like, there's no way that this is happening right now. And it was. And dude, you are that violent on that in front of that stage, and you're willing to participate in that way over a stupid joke. And Pugs and I and you, James, have been in front of audiences all the time where we make fun of people. Do I now have to worry about like people are going to fucking hit me?
Right. See, here is the precedent that this sets. And I'll tell you, because I've given a lot of thought to what I think the why in
How much time thought? How much time?
How much? Not much time. Just give me a second.
I'm just joking. I'm joking.
What happened last night with Will Smith doing that to Chris Rock, that set a precedent that now anytime a comedian at the Addison Improv decides to take a shot at Bubba from Burleson's girlfriend for something that she's doing, Bubba now has the right to get up and start a fight with that person because he saw one of the biggest stars in the world do it and nothing happened to him. It has been normalized. The idea of not taking a joke has been normalized, and the way that we'll see it manifest itself is on the comedy stages of America. Maybe
are we gonna like set hits out for Ricky Gervais?
Right, right.
Like really, like he can't ever speak again in public.
Yeah, I don't know.
Stupid. Like, dude, you put yourself out there. You're in the public eye. People are gonna make fun of you. Get over it. You have Academy Awards and millions of dollars, and you live, in millions of dollars worth of house. Sorry.
Well, to answer,
or don't go.
To answer James's question, let me give you the why, okay? Because I've given this much consideration. So the why for this, and I talked about it at the start of the show before either of you guys were with me. This has been building for 30 years in the relationship between Jada and Will Smith. Will has always felt like a cuck. Now, one of the more interesting things that I found out today was that Jada Pinkett's best friend in the entire world and rumored love of her life going all the way back to high school, they went to high school prom together, was Tupac. Okay. Tupac and Jada Smith go all the way back to when they were 15, 16 years old. They went to prom together at the Baltimore School of the Arts. When they both became famous, they were thick as thieves. And although there was never any kind of a true romantic thing, they were an item.
There's a connection.
There's a deep, friendly, back to our Baltimore roots connection as they both went off on their ways. And also, they're both hot. And Jada Pinkett Smith says she's a sex addict. So they were hooking up. They were banging. Yeah, they were banging. You think Tupac's not going to bang a young 18-year-old hot Jada Pinkett and she's a sex addict?
He's not just like hanging out so he gets to buy her drinks. No.
So you have the Tupac thing. And then you have in 1992 or 93, I don't remember what the year was exactly, but I read this today too about their relationship. Tupac Shakur, back in the early 90s, said about Will Smith isn't a rapper. He creates pop music for white kids in the suburbs. Okay. So now this is before Will was with Jada. So like a couple of years later, Tupac's dead. And, when someone you love, I said this, when you love someone and they're suddenly dead, they haven't been given time to disappoint you for you to naturally fall out of love.
That's true.
So Tupac holds this exalted place in Jada's heart forever. And Will knows that Tupac didn't respect him. And then we fast forward to all the running around that Jada has done on Will and the public humiliation that Will suffered a couple of years ago where he cried on her show because she was talking about hooking up with her son's kid. And there has been awful, awful blowback to Will Smith for those moments, especially on what's known as Black Twitter. Black Twitter has been cruel to Will Smith.
What's the web address for that?
I don't know. But Black Twitter has basically defined Will Smith as less than a man now for years because of all of these different instances. And I think that last night, Will Smith felt like it was his night. And that he was expected to win. He did win. He was sitting right there in the very front row, and that's where they put the big stars. And it was his night to truly be appreciated as an artist, to win the big hardware. And now, all of a sudden, his wife is insulted right there next to him. And she gives him that look like, I am insulted. And all of these ideas in Will's head comes, I'm not a man, I'm not a man. They say I'm not a man. He got up to prove that he is going to defend his woman in front of the entire world. And let me tell you the last thing I'll say about this. It was 5'6", 140-pound Chris Rock who he decided to be a man against. I mean, if this was Dave Chappelle, he would not have done that.
No.
If this was, imagine this. I threw this out earlier today. And it would never happen because, lefty Hollywood and all that kind of stuff. But he is certainly big enough to be justified if he wasn't so, controversial. What if Joe Rogan had said that on stage?
God, I hate Joe Rogan.
Does Will? Yes, but Joe Rogan would beat the holy fuck out of Will Smith if Will Smith,
Yeah, he would.
if Will
Yeah,
Smith tried to
sure.
step up and say, Will Smith saw a mark. He saw an opportunity to show the world that I am not this coddled cuck, and he decided to take it out on a 58-year-old, 5'5" little guy. That was the motivation. That's what I think the entire thing is about.
Over a lame joke. Like, the joke wasn't even good.
Right.
And as I've been saying all day, no one would even remember that freaking joke if he had not just punched him. And now they're going to have to both answer to it every time they do an interview.
Yeah. Will Smith has put out a statement on it.
Yeah, he apologized.
Did you see it, James? Did you see this earlier tonight?
I did not.
All right. So Will Smith, after he won his award, of course, he he
apologized to everyone in the world except Chris Rock,
except for the people that actually should have
except
been
the one he hit.
Yeah. Oh my God, I can't find the apology now. Hold on.
I'd look it up at Jeff's now in the shower. I can't go and get my phone.
Here it is. Okay, I'm sorry. I found it. All right. So Will Smith posted to his Instagram tonight at 7:15 p.m. Well, at least that's when this was posted. Here's what Will Smith had to say. I'm filling time as it's buffering. Okay.
He was saying that he apologized directly to Chris Rock.
Yes, he did. Here it is. It says, Will Smith off his Instagram. Violence in all of its forms is poisonous and destructive. My behavior at last night's Academy Award was unacceptable and inexcusable. Jokes at my expense are a part of the job, but a joke about Jada's medical condition was too much for me to bear, and I reacted emotionally. That's an apology, non-apology. That's an apology.
I absolutely rolled my eyes when I heard that. Her talking about her health thing. Like, not everyone. Dude, we don't know about the health of your family.
Right.
And is your kid sick? I have no clue. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
And he should have left out an excuse.
No, because he wants that excuse.
Well, right, he does. But if it was a true apology, he would just say, he would have ended it with,
I apologize.
Right. He continues. He goes on, though. He says, I would like to publicly apologize to you, Chris. I was out of line and I was wrong. I'm embarrassed and my actions were not indicative of the man I want to be. There is no place for violence in a world of love and kindness. I would also like to apologize to the Academy, the producers of the show, all of the attendees, and everyone watching around the world. I would like to apologize to the Williams family and my King Richard family. I deeply regret that my behavior has strained what has been an otherwise gorgeous journey for all of us. I am a work in progress. Sincerely, Will.
James, what do you say to that?
He didn't mean any of that. That's all written by some PR agent. He just signed off on it. That means absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because he doesn't believe half of that stuff. Most of us don't believe half of that stuff.
Honestly, he only needed to apologize to Chris because he apologized to everybody else in the fucking world when he won his Academy Award for it 20 minutes later.
Do you know what my favorite response to this from last night came from Richard Williams himself. Richard Williams, the guy that he portrayed.
No,
Richard Williams. And I'm going to paraphrase it because I don't know. I don't have the exact words, but Richard Williams basically said that wasn't cool.
No,
Richard Williams.
You know, also like how in so many ways Richard Williams was horrible to his kids.
Yes.
And they totally glossed over that in the movie.
Yes.
He was horrible to them.
That is why I was going to watch that movie late last night after the awards, but after he did the slap, I went, you know what? I don't even want to see that movie.
I watched it with
now.
my mom and
But I do know the backstory.
For anyone that's not keeping track, my mom died of ALS on January 15th of this year. That sucked. What made it worse was her funeral was at the end when they canceled all the flights. So I couldn't even be there for my mother's funeral because my flights were canceled because of the weather.
Oh my God.
Great. Awesome. Yeah. No, it was horrible. It was just awful. Like I probably was drunk for like 3 days. Because it was awful. Like I just got the news on my phone, like your flight's canceled. And then my stepdad calls me and he's like, well, you're screwed. There's no way you can get out. And I know there's not. I knew there wasn't a way to get out. And my brother Tommy was like, well, you can drive. But then, do you want to hear this drama? Because like,
Oh.
Is there
because then
nudity involved?
Tommy was like, well, you can drive there, but the rule was only I could go, but my husband and kids couldn't go, and like, Kevin, my brother Kevin's wife couldn't go. Like it was just the immediate kids. Yet random people from all over were able to go, but so I would have to drive by myself in, frozen weather. Pugs, you know what was happening at that time
Oh yeah.
when they shut the fucking airports down.
Uh-huh.
But I would have to drive by myself
Oh.
overnight straight through, and I couldn't do that. Like I just couldn't. I couldn't do that. I couldn't physically do that, and also completely unsafe for me to do that by myself. So I had to miss my mother's funeral.
Ugh.
I had to miss her ceremony. I had to miss all of that. And yeah, it's like really upsetting.
Well-
It was horrible.
Well, you got to spend a lot of time with her though at the end. I know that, right?
A lot of time.
Well, I mean, sometime. I guess I shouldn't overstate it. Not really knowing the
know.
details. I mean,
I got to spend New Year's with her.
so did you watch King Richard? Is that how you got it? That was
Yeah,
real?
we
You-
did.
you
We did
watched
watch
it-
that.
you
Like
watched it with
so.
her. Okay.
But then also, like, I saw the movie.
Did she
but
get to
I
fire off any
also
final
read the
racist
book.
comments or anything? Was-
No, I also read the book, and I also know what he did to his daughters. To
Yeah.
like have them on the court with people yelling the N-word at them constantly and shit. Like he's not any kind of angel in any way.
No, he was a very sketchy dude. He was a very
Yeah,
sketchy guy
he
with
really
a
was.
whole, he's got like 15 kids, right? He's got
Yeah.
there's like a
But
billion
like he
kids
like
from a bunch of
hired
different
people
women.
to stand on the side of the tennis courts to yell the N-word at them all the time while they were practicing.
Well, he had to get
And
used to it.
I understand that, but it's some like shit.
Yeah,
That's rough.
Before this movie came out, I remember reading a thing about the movie when it came out. The movie was the motivation for the movie was to sort of counteract a lot of the stories about Richard Williams and about how awful and a terrible parent he was. So they were going to make this movie that was going to kind of gloss over all of that. And
He was raising champions, but like
personal
at what
mythology.
expense?
How
Yeah.
many of these guys exist and their kid sucks at tennis, so it's just hell until they're 18?
Who hires people to like
payoff.
mock your family and call them names?
Look, hey, it paid off. Any means to an end, I guess.
Well, this time it did, but the other 6,000 guys did not pay off.
Old Richard's got a fancy car these days. I promise you that.
Like, what if your dad's
Yeah,
Joe
he
Jackson,
has
but
it,
you
but,
can't
like,
sing?
What am I gonna do? Like, what do I yell to Quinn and Lachlan? Like, hey, cracker! Like, I don't even know what an insult is. That way, people to be yelling at the sidelines to get them to be better at football. Like, I don't know.
No, well, you just got to let kids do what they do. You don't want to be that parent. You can't be that parent.
Oh hell no, I don't want to be that parent. No.
I mean, I would love for my kid to be
I have
successful.
Declan to be that parent.
I would love for my son to grow up and be wildly successful like the Williams sisters. I just don't want to have to lift a finger to get him there. I just want to let him do it on his
It's a lot
own.
of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Gosh darn. The world expects way too much of us.
Do you think I wanted to wake up at 6:45 this morning to take his ass to school? No, but I had
Again,
to.
I don't want to hear about you sleeping until 6:45 when I have to get up at 6.
Yeah. All right. Do we have any final thoughts on the big story of the day? Is there anything else that we need to get into?
Well, I would like to. I would
think
like.
that it's. Oh, okay. Go, James. 'Cause
James?
I want to hear your point of view so I can make fun of it.
No, go ahead. I would like to say that Chris Rock really looks like a decent dude. Like, I thought that was really professional of him to like not
it
fight
was.
back or not walk off or not get upset or not even really break character and go like, "Hey man, what the hell was that?" He just said, like, "Wow, dude," and he just went
ran
on
with
with
it. He ran with it, and he could have like gone the fuck off, but he was clearly shaking, like because
Yeah, he
like,
was.
his
Yeah,
speech
he was.
off.
As well. He should be. You get one
Sure,
hit,
it should be.
and immediately you don't know if another one's coming. But he didn't. First off, he didn't fall down and he wasn't knocked off his feet. He didn't even take a step back. He
Yeah.
just took it like
and
he's
he
been
didn't
punched
even
before.
see it like full on coming.
No, because it was really quick. It was a ninja slap.
To the
In fact,
point
he was
where,
leaning
like,
in like,
as
"What are
I
you
was
about to
watching
say
it
to me?"
live, I'm like, nah, this isn't real. Nah, this is staged for something. But then when it stopped and there was no further joke, I'm like, oh no, that was bad.
It was. I was. Can I tell you? Okay, that's good. You know how this is how I summed it up this morning when I was trying to explain.
When you didn't invite me to talk about it.
Well, I do the noon show
I'm
alone.
joking.
It's
I'm
just
joking.
me and my hot topics. I explained it like this. This is how I felt watching it, and then later when he won the award and he got up and everyone gave him a standing ovation. Okay, so this is how I described it. It's like when we were kids at a family party and maybe we watched like a beloved uncle get drunk and smack Aunt Betty, like at Thanksgiving, right? And then the adults go away and all the kids are left alone to try and figure out. And then like 20 minutes later, when we all sit down to dinner, there's uncle and there's Betty and everybody's acting like nothing happened. We've all just moved on.
It was weird.
And then we all go to therapy when we're 30 because we can't process how we all just sort of moved on.
Kids, I'm like, is this a bit? Like, is this something that happened? Because I don't watch many movies at all. Like, I've seen Encanto 7 times and no other movies in like 4 years. Only this one.
But they all moved on. It was like it never happened. When he made his speech, it was like it never happened. And I'm like, but wait, he punched Aunt Betty. We're all just going to let that slide.
Like, I watched the rest of the speech and I was just like, this doesn't seem like that this would be something that was written as a bit. Yeah. And like, I'm trying to process it in my head. Like, what?
Yeah.
If this is a bit, it's poorly written.
James, were you surprised at all at the divided takes on this? Like, I can't see how anyone could support what Will Smith did, yet it looks like
people do. They say that it's because they honestly, it's become, oh God, James, you'll love to hear this, but like there's a racist thing. Like they feel like it's nice to see a black man stand up for a black woman. And again, I'm kidding, James. I'm just like,
we're trying to paint you as the loose cannon.
Well, if you want me to go with the racial angle, I think it would be funny to see how different the reaction would be if it instead of Will Smith, it had been a white dude.
Ricky Gervais. What if it was Ricky Gervais?
No, not the host, but the slapper, not the slappee.
Oh, like
the guy who took
Bradley
the swing.
Cooper?
Who it was?
Yeah, Bradley Cooper, Jake Gyllenhaal.
I don't care what race you are. That's way the fuck off.
I know, but they would have introduced the racial angle in 2022. A black guy can't even host the Oscars without some white supremacist coming and trying to slow him down.
That was flat out fucking wrong.
What if Mel Gibson jumped up and punched Wanda Sykes in the face?
Oh my God!
Then what?
I'm not sure what the lesson is in that because don't we already know that Mel Gibson's fucking racist?
All right, Bradley Cooper then. All right, but Bradley Cooper. What if Bradley Cooper had jumped up and like?
Really, your defense is Mel Gibson?
I don't know. I saw him.
Who you jumped to?
But Mel Gibson was appalled by the slap. Did you see the freeze frame of him? I loved. They took all these.
He was there.
Oh yeah.
I didn't notice.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, I tuned him out because I'm too good to even see him.
Kelly, they took all of these. They took all of these freeze frame pictures of all of these celebs in the moment and showed their facial expressions. And one of the funny things that was trending is when you've lost Mel Gibson. It's like and Mel
it's a red flag.
It was so wrong. Like I couldn't even believe what was happening. And I will be of the member of the hot takes that says Will Smith should have been taken out. He can obviously still get his Oscar because he earned it. But then he just doesn't get that. He doesn't get the audience. He just doesn't.
Yeah,
he had the audience when he got the slap. That's it.
That's the thing that they're saying. They're like, well, they're investigating. The Academy is investigating right now what to do, and he may be banned from the future, and they might consider.
I saw that. Like they're investigating. Right. It's fucking on tape. What are you investigating?
Yeah. First off, of course he's banned from all future Oscars. You idiots.
No, he's not. He won't.
Well, he will be when they go through their little arbitration process.
No, he won't, James.
Really?
No. Again, and what award?
Kelly, James. Next year at next year's Oscars, Will Smith and Chris Rock will present together. That's the payoff. I predicted that.
Okay.
That is absolutely going to be the tune-in moment for next year's Oscars. Will Smith, we're going to sweep this under the rug. But the idea that they're thinking about taking his Oscar away when fucking
No,
Harvey,
you can't do
Harvey
that.
Weinstein still has a trophy
Right.
case filled with them, and they're going to take Will Smith's away.
All right, here's the deal. Here's
a genius by saying that they may present together. That's a genius move.
Yeah, I think.
No. I think it should go to the other side of the spectrum, where next year Will Smith is the host of the Oscars, and they sit Chris Rock in the front row just to stare this dude down.
More hosts of the Oscars. I think that it was fine. It was fine last night.
Yeah, I thought they were good last night, but they had hosts last night. It was Amy Schumer, Wanda Sykes, and I thought they were good.
Not one.
And who's the third one? We don't know.
Rebecca Hall. I know.
I don't remember. She looks familiar. I've seen her before.
I know her name.
I spent half the show thinking it was Regina King and wondering how much work.
I did too the first time I heard the name. I'm like, what the fuck is Regina King there?
No, I thought that, like, I'm looking at her going, what kind of work did Regina King have done? That she looks not at all.
No, I don't blame you for that.
Regina Hall.
God, you're so like,
I don't know who she is.
Ignorant.
I know. Well, we're middle-aged white people. That's what we are. That's,
what can I do?
We're no more
I can't
or less.
do anything about it.
No.
We're just basic white people. That's right. We suck.
I'm basically my grandfather. I'm basically my grandfather in 1984.
You crack me up. Basic white people.
We are. That's us, man.
I'm my grandfather in 1984 trying to figure out Boy George. That's what I am right now. That's basically my whole life.
Oh, not only that, but like our parents were like, I think he's gay.
Oh, do you think so?
Like, what? Really?
What? Gave it away.
My grandfather's like, he's wearing lady clothes.
All right, guys, I think that's going to be a wrap for today.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I took up too much of your time.
James, say goodbye to Kelly.
Bye, Kelly. Good to see you. Happy birthday.
Bye, James. Love you. Good to hear you. No, we don't talk about birthdays. No. We don't talk about birthdays.
We'll have to do this again the next time something big happens.
Hold on. Let me clear my schedule. Oh, good. I've got nothing happening ever.
There you go. What?
Perfect.
I told you, anytime you want to be on, I mean, I just use this as an excuse to reach out.
Well, what am I going to be like? Hey, Pugs.
All right, once a week.
Talk to me today?
Once a week.
Why don't you get a webcam and you can just guest in like I'm doing?
I have a webcam.
Well, do it.
Ed made me buy a whole other computer and like. Well, I had some problems.
Well, Kelly and I are supposed to.
My mom died. Sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
Problem.
Kelly and I are supposed to be working on this podcast project that doesn't seem to be going anywhere because we're just waiting for Ed to what? Have his spleen removed or something?
No, I think he's waiting on me. Like I between my mom dying and missing the funeral and all that shit. And then I've just had personal stuff going on.
Wasn't that like 2 months
ago?
But
I'm totally, completely. Oh, I'm sorry, James. Am I not recovering as opposed to like how your plan thinks that I should be doing?
Her mourning period is taking a little longer than we all expected. Let's just put up with it.
God,
for a little longer. No, Ed's having some like
fine.
Surgery. Ed's having some kind of surgery.
Ed, don't you go dying on me.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it's knee. He's having like complete reconstructive knee
James,
surgery.
I've almost died twice since the last time I talked to you. So
yeah, I want to do a show with just where we talk about, Kelly and, how she almost ran herself to death. How she almost exercised herself to death.
I did.
Which is something I had been screaming about for 20 years. I predicted it years ago that you were going to die in workout clothes. It didn't have anything to do with running. It had to do with dishwashing, and I fell, and I hit my head, and I knocked myself unconscious. I thought it was a stair climber. I thought you were on a stair climber.
No, I literally
don't discourage exercise. She's hot when she's all ripped, man. She has like a flat stomach and everything.
Oh,
she's hot.
Thanks, James.
I see your Instagram videos.
Like
she's over there like exercising in like these little boy shorts. Yeah, just so happens to like catch a nice little silhouette of her butt.
Some women still appreciate being objectified by younger men.
Oh yeah, just anytime.
All right, James, be well. We'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, love you guys.
Well, I'm not saying goodbye to you just yet. James usually James always drops off first. There goes.
Okay, good. We'll talk to Dad about this.
Nah, because he's always. All right, why don't you do Mondays with me? Why don't you do Mondays with me? Why don't you commit to doing Mondays with me?
Hold on. Let me look at the calendar.
All right. So every Monday, you'll join me and James, and we'll do this every Monday, okay?
Sounds great.
Oh,
James is not. I was just joking. He's not legit mad or anything, is he?
oh, that's impossible to get James legit mad. He takes
Okay.
nothing seriously.
Okay.
No, there is
I felt
no
bad.
way.
I'm like, I'll make fun of him, and then I was like, dude, I hope he doesn't think that like I'm being mean to him on purpose.
He is a very well-read and very smart and considered person who is almost never serious. So there you go. That's what I
Okay,
learned
well,
about
in the
James.
meantime, can you explain to me why my brother is such an isolationist? Where does that come from?
Which one is this, Tommy or Kevin?
Who do you
I don't know.
think? You know both of them.
You're right.
Mm,
But I
Tom.
thought, okay, Tommy. Because I was under the impression that we had lost Kevin already. Too. Well, Kevin was sort of,
Kevin's a little bit, but like he's not like if he's England or Italy, you still need to stay out of it. Like I was like, is it? Huh?
talking to his military family sister saying that you're not needed.
I mean, like I appreciate the fact that he told me his actual feelings, his thoughts, but at the same time, I'm like, this is good. Like so we can just like so essentially, am I wrong in thinking that there would only be like one superpower if that were the case?
Hey, Kelly. All right, hold on. Kenny Jenkins. Sound sucks.
Sweet.
Underwater.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We sound terrible. Ed just chimed in. What happened when you dropped James? The sound was. Don't worry, no one sounds like robots.
No, I call it.
Yeah, no, something happened when we lost James. We dropped him, and does it still sound bad, you guys? Because if it does, we'll just wrap it up.
All right. Well, if there's something anyone else can think about, what's the reason me up? Because I don't get it completely.
It just says one left the ship, and James left with
Oh, shit, I'm sorry.
no. This show sounds like G.I. Jane Part 2. All right, that's good. Thank you, Will. All right, Kelly, we'll work on that next week, okay? We'll give you that. We'll figure out exactly what's wrong with the sound, and then we'll come back. All right, thank you, Kelly. Happy birthday. There she goes. That's Kelly. It's her birthday.
Love you.
She'll be joining us on Monday. She committed to it. Love you too. Bye-bye. All right. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here because that's, I don't like when the sound goes. And we hope you enjoyed tonight's show. Join me tomorrow for the high noon edition, 12 noon. All right, I'm going to get out of here. You know what? Here, let me try this. I'm going to play our closing theme. You guys tell me if the sound on the closing theme sounds bad too. Or is it just like the microphone's not trying to come up? That's fun. Enjoy. Wrong one. There you go. All right, now, folks, in the chat room, is the sound still bad? All right, sorry, folks. Out of here.